right, so again, welcome everyone. My name is Rebecca Lamadrid. I'm going to be here together with Kelly Eaton hosting this webinar for you all. Let me just say that we are excited to host the first webinar for our internship site partners. Again, my name is Rebecca Lamadrid. I am the Managing Director of the Office of Internship Site Relations. Just to keep a couple of things before we start, just for you all to know, you are all muted, so we don't have any issues with the feedback and voices. So if you have any question, either throughout the presentation or as we're going through, please feel free to just shoot it in, and we will answer it either at the end or as soon as we see appropriate time. Well, as I said, I'm here with Kelly Eaton, and let me just tell you a little bit about Kelly. Kelly Eaton is the Washington Center's Chief Academic Officer. She is responsible for the academic internship program, which actually includes the curriculum, the program performance, and assessment. Kelly is also our lead representative in the academic community here and throughout the country. Kelly was a political science professor for more than 25 years before joining the Washington Center. She's been with us for some years already, and we are very excited about these big changes that we're taking in our program, and Kelly is key in delivering this, and we're very excited about what she is providing us. So, as I said, through this presentation, feel free to send any questions to the chat. Kelly, would you like to get started?
Sure. Hello, and thank you for attending this webinar. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about some of the changes that we're making at the Washington Center. We're going to have as our agenda, we're going to talk about the reasons that we've decided to make these changes. We've been now in operation about 39 years, and so these are some significant changes for us at this point. I'm going to talk a little bit about an overview of what we are calling our lead programming, which will be the programming we'll be doing with our students on Fridays, and then a little bit about our next steps. So a main part of our change here is that we have moved our Washington Center programming, which has traditionally taken place on Monday afternoons, apparently for as long as anybody here can remember, and we are shifting it to Friday. So there are two changes. One, the day from Monday to Friday. Two, it's from being a half day to a full day of programming. We're doing this for a variety of reasons. We believe it's important from talking to our internship site partners over the years. It seems to us that there's a lot of planning for the week that takes part on Monday, and that pulling students out of their internships on Monday is not always the best pedagogical choice to make in terms of the learning that takes place in the internships. And then we've also created more space by having full-day programming to be able to do things like enhance the relationship that our students have with their academic program advisor, and overall to be able to deliver higher quality programming with more time available. And I'm going to talk to you today about some of these things in greater depth. The Washington Center program has three really important components. First and foremost, the internship, and you all are our vital partners in this strategic partnership in providing these learning opportunities for our students. So that part of it you know very well, and depending upon the polling results, we're going to be able to provide more webinars to help in those areas. We also have a course. That part of the program is a lot like what happens on campuses for students, except for that we really have some requirements that our courses are very engaged. Many of them are DC-centric. That takes place in the evenings, and students take one course while they're here with us. And then lastly, what we're calling lead programming. This is our Friday programming. It's a shift in the name of it and in how we're delivering on our promise to our students. So just in short, this is a little infographic. It's still in draft format, but I think it shows pretty clearly what we're talking about. The acronym we've chosen, LEAD, we've chosen it because it really stands for the things that we hope to deliver for our students. First, a leadership curriculum. We're helping our students understand leadership and begin to understand their own and develop their own leadership style. E is for engagement, both civic engagement as well as professional engagement and academic engagement. A is for achievement, and D is for development. Again, both professional/career development, but also personal development. So we're hoping that soon you'll hear students talk about what they're doing in LEAD that week, or what they did in LEAD last week, and what they'll be referring to as that Friday programming. So there are a variety of types of events that we're going to take our students through on Friday, and I'm going to move forward and talk to you about the different kinds of programming we're going to do for our students. First of all, by moving our program to Friday and making it all day, we are going to be able to carve out time for students to have small group discussions. And in these small groups discussions, we're going to be doing a variety of things that I'll talk about in a minute. We are in the afternoons of some of these Fridays going to be able to have professional track programming. Some Fridays we will get together with all of the interns at once, and we will listen to leaders in our Simpson-Mineta Leader Series. Some Friday afternoons our students will participate in civic engagement. And then we have a couple of Fridays where we have really unique opportunities like Career Boot Camp and Global Citizenship Day. And I'll talk about those in a second. The real advantage of small group discussions, I think, is that it allows for the student to have time to critically reflect on the experience they're having in Washington, and most specifically in the lessons they're learning in their internships. Best practices related to experiential education is that it is in that reflection where the learning takes place, that they actually get a time to slow down, talk to other interns, talk to their program advisors, answer prompts about what they're learning, about their field, about what it means to be a professional, and about themselves and how they need to develop to be able to have the kinds of careers that they want to have. So we're really excited about that. We have never before, as far as I know, in the history of the Washington Center, been able to structure things so that students can be together in a group of 15 or 16 for a full 75 minutes and have these kinds of small group discussions. So we're in the middle of writing this curriculum, and we plan to at times break them up into even smaller groups of 4 or 6 to be able to facilitate that reflection. We will have the leadership curriculum. We're developing a leadership curriculum, again, to both give them some frameworks for leadership, but also to help them see things that are going on in their internship through a leadership lens, be able to understand speakers that are being put before them, and then again, really be able to begin to develop their own leadership style. We really are excited about having this opportunity to share lessons from the internship, because now the internship will be very clearly bracketed from Monday morning to Thursday afternoon. 32 hours where that is their experience for the week. And then that very Friday, the very next morning, being able to talk about the lessons from the week. They don't have to wait through the weekend and talk about it on a Monday, but they get to talk about it in the very week that these lessons are being learned. So we're really excited about that. And then we also have more time to prepare for the programming we put them in front of. Currently, we have a speaker series, Simpson-Mineta Leader Series, and we bring in significant leaders in the field. But right now, we simply, with only half-day programming, we don't really have time to prepare them to best appreciate those speakers or to debrief and have them be critical in terms of their reflections on the leadership series. In the afternoons, on the days where they have this these small group discussions in the afternoons, they're going to have what we call professional track programming. And students will then, while in the morning sessions, they will be with students from every different major, from every different university, and there'll be a good distribution of international and domestic students so that there'll be a richness of their discussion, being able to learn from each other. In the afternoon, they will be grouped with people who have their same professional interests or career interests. And so the programming will include field trips within DC, panel discussions of experts, and they'll work a little bit on an assignment that's related to their career. So if a student is in the international affairs track, for example, during their internship, maybe they're working very specifically on the issue of human trafficking. But we might, in the field trips, we might take them to the State Department, or we might take them to the Chinese embassy. With panel discussions, we'll bring in security experts, diplomatic experts, and maybe experts in development. So they'll get a sense of what's available in the career track that they're interested in. Just a little bit more detail about our Simpson Mineta Leader Series. It's an opportunity for students to not only listen to but engage with prominent leaders in the field. This semester we had a conversation, our students had a conversation with Governor John Huntsman. This happened during the uprisings in Hong Kong. So Huntsman was able to talk not only about his experience running for the presidency and his experience being a governor, but also things that were happening in China and the need for students in China to have civil discourse. And so our students from all over the world got to get up and ask questions. This current picture you're looking at is former Majority Leader Gephardt, who was with our students along with House Speaker Dennis Hastert, and they talked about what was wrong with Congress. So these are opportunities for students to begin to have civil discourse modeled for them, but also to be able to formulate and ask questions of leaders. It's I think, an excellent event. Our civic engagement, this is one area that we're changing pretty significantly. I know that some of you are new to the Washington Center, and some have been around for a while at the Washington Center, and we're changing it to achieve a couple of prime objectives. First, we want every student at the Washington Center to have an even civic engagement experience. Currently, we have some that are having really outstanding experiences and others that are having a little bit less inspired experiences. So we want to even it out. We want to create a civic engagement that is meaningful and that can be actually delivered within that Friday programming. Currently, our civic engagement projects are in the evening, and it means that students are engaged at least 2 evenings a week, one with their course and one with civic engagement. This gives a little bit more time in the evening to sort of relax and have some downtime and maybe enjoy being in Washington a little bit. So we're going to be providing our students with some educational sessions. Some of them will be all of the students together. Others will be very small, kind of like a conference. And, you know, if you go to a conference in your field and you get to pick and choose the workshops or panel sessions you want to go to, we're developing panels and workshops in 3 modules within civic engagement, things like community development, political sort of involvement in campaigns, social responsibility, and we're looking for some of our partners, actually, and maybe some of you are interested. We're looking for some of our partners to come and do a 90-minute session with some of our students. So if you're interested in that, or in direct service, we're going to have our students do about 5 hours of direct service as well as part of their civic engagement project. And so we're always interested in, you know, multiple layers of partnerships with our affiliates. And then we're also including in this our public policy dialogues. This has been part of the Washington Center for decades, and this is where we take our students up to Capitol Hill to talk to their senator or congressperson about issues they're concerned about back home. And we believe that the ability to do this is an important part of civic engagement, to be able to give voice to the things that you're concerned about. And then, of course, the reflection piece as well. So we're excited and believe that we've streamlined the program a bit by bringing civic engagement within those Fridays and connecting the pieces in a little bit more intentional way for the students. And then lastly, we have some other kinds of Fridays where we're all together. First of all, in the beginning of the year, we have pretty much 2 full days of orientation, where the Washington Center staff, almost all of us, really work to acclimate students to Washington and to try to prepare them for what it means to be in a professional setting, both in terms of their internship and how they're living as young adults. So we spend a lot of time with them in the beginning of the semester on preparing them. We also have a full day of career boot camp, which is, again, it's almost like a conference where we typically have a keynote speaker, and then we do a whole day of workshops, and they get to select the workshops that they think would be most useful to them. Right now, we're really thinking about what it means to be able to expand this from a half day to a full day, but we're excited about the possibilities. For example, we could, in the morning sessions, really have it be about hard skills, and the afternoon sessions could be more about soft skills. So we're still in the middle of talking about it. It's a really popular part of our program, and we're excited that we're going to be able to offer even more sessions to our students. And we hope that you'll see and maybe have conversations with the students about what they learned in these career boot camp settings. I think it would be nice for them to be able to bounce some new ideas off of their supervisors. We also have a Global Citizenship Day, which we just recently completed, which is, again, another full day event where we bring in a keynote speaker, sometimes from the UN, sometimes from the State Department, and then have a series of workshops around global competencies and what it means to be a citizen in the world and what it means to, hopefully build a successful career for themselves in a global environment. And then, of course, our commencement activities are full day as well. So our next steps are that we are really in the thick of the curriculum creation. These are all of these areas are areas that we have been working on for a long time, but I believe that the way that we're now designing it is going to allow us, as I said before, to really deliver more fully on our promise. So we're still in the middle of working really hard in small groups to come up with a curriculum that we're really happy with and believe in. We're in the hands with key stakeholders. For example, this kind of a webinar. We're also doing the same things with our universities. We are affiliated with roughly 400 universities around the world, so we also want to share out our changes with them. And so we're excited about having done that both with universities and with you all as internship site supervisors. The launch of this will be in January, in late January. We'll begin the spring semester, and as we go along, we'll be continually evaluating and adjusting. We have built in a weekly sort of conversation about what happened the week before, what's working, what's not working, what's the feedback we're getting, and we're excited to have all kinds of feedback because our goal is just to make this better and better as we move forward. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in. We're really excited you participated. I'm going to hand it back over to Rebecca.
Sure. Thank you, Penny. Thank you so much. As you probably can see, we are excited about what this change and what the impact is going to have on students. What I'm going to go through is a couple of the questions that some of you actually provided ahead of time. So, and I'm just going to, address them to Kelly, and Kelly will respond to them. If you have more, please just type them in. So Kelly, how does the Washington Center prepare interns to balance their 32-hour work schedule and other Washington Center commitments like paper, classes, and consider engagement?
Well, thanks for that question. And part of why I'm really excited about what we're doing here is that I believe by setting aside an entire day for students to work on some of these things that you mentioned, civic engagement, papers, even informational interviews, I believe, even though we will have morning sessions and afternoon sessions with them on Friday, there will also be a little bit more time to work on these assignments during that Friday. And I'm really thrilled with taking civic engagement out of the evening and putting it into Friday as well. And so that I'm very excited about. We also work really closely with our university partners. Some of them, believe it or not, believe that they want to even layer more assignments and more work over what we are requiring at the Washington Center. And so I'm always engaged in visiting provosts and deans and really sharing out with them all that we do so that they're comfortable with not, on top of this, having students do independent studies or extra classes. For the most part, we're successful, but it's an ongoing situation because I've been working in this field for a very long time, and I think it's important to give students time to breathe and to explore for themselves all that Washington has to offer. So it is something we think about a lot, and I believe we're making a step in the right direction with our Friday program.
Thank you, Kelly. I have here one from Kristen Sheldon. Can you give us a brief sense of what Career Bootcamp is like?
Okay, I'm trying to think.
Career Bootcamp.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read the rest of the question.
That's
Oh, so Career Bootcamp, typically we will bring in a keynote speaker or speakers. Sometimes it's a panel of HR people who are the head of HR offices here in DC, and they talk about what they're looking for when they hire. We're not completely wedded to that model of keynote speaker. In fact, we might experiment with doing some other things during that time, like maybe workshopping on some of the assignments, like getting feedback on their resumes and things. We might build that into that Friday. But historically, it's been a keynote speaker followed by breakout sessions, and those breakout sessions can range from everything from a session on negotiating your first salary to a session on what it's like to try to create a career in international development, to a session on how do you come out in the workplace. I mean, we really try to have a breadth of workshops so that these students can make a choice. They like to have choice in how they spend their day, so they can make a choice and choose panels that are most relevant to them.
Okay, great, Kelly. And we have another one here from Sarah Eckert. So she says, many times Washington Center interns have events had during their term. For example, meetings with their representatives. They're not necessarily on Monday. This causes them to miss more work during the week, and sometimes the timing results in them not being able to come to work at all that day. Does the shift to all-day Friday means this will not be happening?
I certainly think there'll be less of it, for sure. The issue with taking the students to the Hill to meet the representatives is we have 440 students, and we really logistically would run up against some pretty big difficulties if we tried to have them all go on the exact same day. So I can't make a promise with that particular part of the program. But with other programs, yes, these things should be happening now that we've carved out more time. And frankly, it's part of why we decided to carve out more time, is that we were increasingly seeing both programming that for a variety of reasons was sometimes happening outside of the Monday programming. I can think of many examples that have to do with specifically funded programs where students have to spend a little bit of time with the donors as they want to see how their scholarships are making a difference for students, and it's very difficult if they have to choose between being in their internship or meeting with their donor. So we're always trying to help students to navigate that, to help with that balance. But yes, that's what we're trying to do, is to have Friday set aside as much as possible for these specific events.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. And I think this other one is tied to that. So it's coming here, like, can I get the schedule of student activities at the beginning of the semester?
Yeah, so what we would like to do, right now we are literally planning out each of those 15 weeks to include the curriculum that will be covered during the week. We're even identifying learning objectives for each and every session that we have with them. And we would be more than happy to share that out with you. Part of the advantage of doing what we're doing is that all of our students are going to be getting a very uniform curriculum. So every student on the same week will be studying, for example, leadership, doing some exercises with respect to leadership. And we would definitely have that to share with you so that you'd be able to look at it and know on Monday what the student will be talking about on Friday in their sessions. We're excited about that, and we would love to share that with you.
We have here another question from Jocelyn, and she's asking if we have suggestions for bootcamp workshop sessions. To whom should we send them to?
Oh, I'm sure those would be very welcome. We have our manager of the career services, her name is Mashal Ahmad, but if you want to send them either to Rebecca or to me, probably Rebecca might be easier, we will make sure that Mashal gets those. We absolutely would love to have more engagement at boot camp from our internship sites. That would be really fantastic for our students.
And I just sent my email for everyone to see, but I can just also mention it. It's Rebecca, Rebecca dot Lamadrid, LAMADRID at twc.edu. And my phone is 202-238-7930. Not only that suggestion, but any other suggestions. We, as Kelly mentioned, we are very open and actually looking forward to feedback in order to do this a lot better and to provide a better partnership to site organizations like you all. So, Kelly, I think that's all of the questions we have for you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. And if you feel like you ever want to talk to me, please, Rebecca would pass on your emails to me as well. So thank you for partnering with us. That's so wonderful for our students.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to this webinar, and we look forward to touching base soon. Have a wonderful rest of the day.